Alright, so this video is gonna be, the topic is Floyd Mayweather Jr. a good role model for the society, for the people? I made some recent videos praising him for his skill in the boxing ring, but I felt that it was necessary for me to make this video to speak about my thoughts on whether or not he's somebody that's worth following as far as developing to be a good human being towards the true way and things like that. I wanted to speak about that. You know, but basically, Mayweather's great in the boxing ring, but some things that I see from his interviews that doesn't really make me feel too well is that to him everything is just all about the money, you know, and I think there's a big flaw right there. For one, it's just one thing that I came to realize too is that, like, you know, he has all this money, he's bragging about all this money he has, but all his supporters, all the people that like him for what he does, they're not getting any part of that money at all. They're never going to get any of that part of money. So what does how much money he have to do with anything as far as other people are concerned? You know, so if he has $1 million, $100 million, or $1 billion, it's not going to change me as a supporter of him, as a fan of his. It's not going to change my life in any way. So how is he having money, a lot of money, helping me grow as a person? It's not helping me at all. His combative skill, by watching him do his boxing, it could help me learn that part to get better just by watching him. But the money that he has doesn't help me at all. But maybe for some people it could give them a dream to aspire towards being like him, to make that money like him, so then it can inspire people to want to box like him, to make money like the way he's making money. But that also, to me, is not a good thing to be gravitating towards, because now you're going to be engaging yourself in a combat sport that's going to be detrimental to your health. Another thing that I want to bring up too is that sometimes I feel that it's not even possible for anybody other than him to be in the position that he's in, because he was born into it. It's like being born into the royal family and then bragging that you're in the royal family. Well, you're not gonna, nobody else is gonna be in the royal family other than him, because he was born into it. So his father was already a boxer, professional boxer. He was born into the industry. But you, sitting at home watching him, that's never going to be your life. So why would you dream about being something that's not even possible? That thing, I think, is very unhealthy, because, okay, if you're going to dream, at least dream towards something that is possible, not impossible. So that's the thing that I also see, is that he was born into this industry. You know, his father was a professional boxer, so immediately he's gotten all these doors open for him to be in that industry. But all the people that are watching him, that are fans and supporters of him, are not going to have that type of opportunity, because they're not born into it. And also, they're not going to have that money that he has is not going to change your way in a positive way. So I think it's creating false dreams in people. Okay, so that is another thing that I see that's wrong. Another thing is, in interviews, all he talks about is money. But what kind of like, how is that going to help you grow in any way? Like, it's just like, gibberish. Like, you're just listening to something that's just it has no positive impact in you. If anything, it can have a negative impact, because then it could kind of hypnotize you into just thinking about money yourself, and that's all you care about. But that's not something that's to gravitate towards, where all you care about is money. Money, 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 money. And his slogan is Money Mayweather. So he's known to be Money Mayweather, and that's what he's known for. So that is not a positive thing either. So there's a lot of things about his intellectual and spiritual that's clearly way down here that I do not feel easy, like comfortable about, and I don't really look at him with admiration in that aspect. It's just his boxing skill that's the only thing. But aside from that, there's really nothing else, you know, as far as that I could see that is really going to be helpful for the people. You know, there's no feelings of spirituality in the things that I've seen in his videos either. His intelligence, even the way that he uses words, which is a problem with a lot of boxers too. Maybe it's because of the repetitive hits in their head, but they don't really speak too well and too intelligently. So it's not really encouraging people to get better at their vocabulary or like reading more books and developing their intelligence. It's not helping them get motivated towards developing that aspect. You know, I don't really see him to be a complete holistic role model like the way that I would always speak about Bruce Lee. You know, Bruce Lee was very combatively capable, very physically fit, but the thing that really drew me towards Bruce Lee the most was the spiritual element, which he inspired me to read books. He inspired me to look into Eastern philosophy, learn about Buddha, learn about Lao Tzu, learn about Zen and Tao. I mean, that is what made Bruce Lee very significant for me, but there's none of that really come from Mayweather other than just the boxing skill. And I think that's just, it's sad that this is the richest athlete in the world and so many people are looking at him, but then he's not in a position to really help people grow mentally or spiritually, you know, or any other way but just to, any other thing but just to be a source of entertainment for others. And I think that's sad, that you're just entertaining people, not just real, like not just peaceful entertainment, but you're entertaining people through violent acts, and that's all that people value you for, and I think that's a detriment. This is not a Martin Luther King Jr., this is not a Malcolm X, and this is not even a Muhammad Ali. This is not somebody not a Buddha, not a Jesus, not a Bruce Lee, not a Osho, not a Lao Tzu, not somebody that could help you grow your intelligence and spirituality. Because I honestly, out of all the things that we're exposed to within the media, I think that is the most important, is the intelligence and the spirituality. Like that is really important within the people that we seek for in role models. You know, people that are rich like Bill Gates, or, you know, CEOs of certain companies, like, they're not going to give us any of that money, but it's just like, okay, they're rich, and then it could just inspire you to try to make money like them, to try to get rich like them, you know. But I think there's a lot more to life than just that, and that's some of the things that I notice about Mayweather, that some of the weaknesses that I see within his expression that people need to be aware about. You know, like with Bruce Lee's quote, you know, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless. In my opinion, absorbing his technical aspects of boxing and learn from that, but then discarding all the ego and the pride and the competitiveness and the greedy mentality and the lack of spirituality, the lack of intelligence. Discard all of that and don't even bother looking at him for that. You need to complete those elements of your development within somebody else out there, you know. But let me.
There's a quote that is from Marvel Comics. It's, "With great power comes great responsibility," and that's from Spider-Man comic, when his uncle was pretty much talking to him about this great power that he has. And it was, in the movie version of it, it was after he had found out he had, you know, confronted this bully at school and pretty much shut him down. you know, and though it came from a comic, with great power comes great responsibility, it rings true for so many facets of life. There are a lot of celebrity out there, you know, and they have a lot of money. They have this great status. They're in the public eye. They have the attention of the world. They have resources that a lot of people may never have. And though they are individuals, and though they have free will to do and to live and to be whomever and whatever they want to be, that statement still does ring true. With great power, with great influence, with great money, with great opportunity, comes responsibility. And that's whether or not you want it. And the reason why is because the world is looking at you. You have young and old who are looking up to you. You have poor and you have rich who are looking up to you. You have those people who look at you and they may never be, like the thought of doing what you do is a far-fetched dream for them. And then you have some who look at you and be like, you know what, I am one step away from being where he is or she is. You know, there are so many people from so many different walks of life and so many cultures watching you. Why wouldn't you want to have something to say or have something that you are about and that you represent that can positively impact their lives? And that's the thing that baffles me about a lot of people who reach status that, you know, where they can reach out and touch the world. You can reach out and touch the entire world, not one or two or three people, not people within a city or people within your community, but the entire world, including the people in your city, in your community, and your family. So why wouldn't you want to take that opportunity to say something, to be something, to do something, to positively impact their state of being? Because whether or not we like it, we are always going to be in someone's eye or in someone's attention. And what they see us do or what they hear us say or what they experience us to be, it's going to impact them. That is the way life is. No matter what it is that we do, where we are, not unless we become a recluse and hide under a rock. There's always going to be someone who we can influence. And you can influence them for a positive or you can influence them for a negative. The thing that I came to notice, because, you know, I don't watch boxing. You know, I opened up for Roy Jones Jr. several years ago. And though I was there at the match after opening, I just have a hard time watching boxing. It's hard to watch grown men, for me to watch grown men just take blows like that. However, I admire the athleticism. I admire the hard work, because I've done the boxing conditioning, but I just cannot watch grown men just, it hurts me. So, but, you know, what I do know is that you have millions of people watching you because it was aired on HBO live. And you have all these people watching you, right? And if you have the attention of the world, why wouldn't you want to say something to positively impact them, to change their lives? And so all of the interviews that I've seen and that I've watched of Mayweather, it has been that. It's been about how much money he was making for the match. The one that I watched this morning, it was about the 300 million. And the interviewer, he made a mistake and quoted the wrong amount. Oh, and Mayweather quickly. He was like, oh, wait, no, it's this much. My thing is, you know what, brother, I celebrate you on the achievements that you've made, you know. However, I challenge you and I ask you, what is it that you have to say that can positively impact and inspire your young brothers and sisters? You know? What is it that you have to say to encourage your older brothers and sisters to keep pushing for better things, to grow in their spirit, to embrace the greatness within themselves, to come to recognize the greatness within themselves. What is it that you have to share that will awaken a people? Because money, though it is a very useful tool, it is not the end-all and be-all of well-being. So, you know, I'm not saying that Mayweather never has done this, but what I'm saying is the public, they only know him, or they mainly know of him, is his love and his accomplishment in his finances. But I've personally, now there may be some of you out there who have, but personally, in all of the interviews that I've read and the ones that I've seen him in, I've never heard him speak of any positive impact that he was promoting when it comes to the education of children, when it comes to promoting keeping artistry in schools, when it comes to the people and their rights, their civil rights as human beings being violated, when it comes to the treacherous murders and the treatment that the African American community has been taking this, you know, this past year alone, 2016, 2015. I've not heard him speak on any of these things, and I'm saying personally. Now, I could have missed some things, you know, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have a voice or he doesn't have an opinion, but what I'm saying is you have this amazing opportunity to reach billions of people. What are you doing with that opportunity, other than sharing how much money you're making for the work that you're doing? What work are you doing to build up a society that is looking to you as a role model? Because not everybody is moved by money. There are some people out there and they're starving. And not just starving for food, but they're starving for life. They're starving for sustenance, for something that they can hold on to, for something that'll give them hope. And it is not always money. The love of money can lead to the root of evil. Not money itself, but the love of it. And so to try to raise a population to come to love the finances that you're making, that in and of itself can be destructive. Money is a useful tool, and to have it, it can help so many people in so many ways. But it doesn't stop there. We need a rebirth of spirit. We need for people to understand how great they are, who they are. We need to help folks to recognize the purpose that they have in this life. And it's not just to make money, but it's to live out a purpose to help build and rebuild societies, communities, families. So, you know, my thing is, you know, I admire athleticism and skill, absolutely. Would never take that away from Mayweather. I wouldn't do that, absolutely not. And that's not what this is about. But it's about also building on spiritual growth, you know, education, the build-up of people. And I'm not just speaking, you know, in the African American communities, though it is desperately needed there. I'm speaking in all communities, in the Asian community, you know, for those people who are lost, you know, to rebuild a people. If you have the opportunity, look and see what it is that you can do to positively impact the world in such a way where when these individuals, when they encounter you or the words that you have to say, their lives are improved. That's my challenge.
Yeah, I mean, it was great what you shared, and I think there's a time when we grow up and we mature and we recognize that to recognize people's talents beyond just the physical, and I think that's when you start to hit maturity, because when I was younger, it was like looking up to Michael Jordan and looking up to Bruce Lee because he could fight, and looking up to Muhammad Ali because he could fight. But then as you get older, you mature, you start to see the skills and talents in people that's beyond just the physical. I think that's a challenge to the audience out there, that the millions of people that are tuning in and paying millions of dollars to watch these boxing events. I think that's a challenge to all of the entire audience to value people beyond just the physical and what they could do physically. When we need to start going back to the time when we started to value like a Socrates or Plato, or like Martin Luther King Jr. or Malcolm X, or people that are standing up and educating people, valuing the teachers out there, and the spiritual leaders out there. I think that's something that we need to really pay attention towards. I think Mayweather is kind of just a reflection of how the society and the world is. Yeah. And it's not really pinpointing his faults. He's just a reflection of the world and where our faults are. Where we put so much of our energy and our attention towards money, and we don't even focus on all the things other than money that's important. I'm not saying to eliminate money and be like, flush it down the toilet and burn it. Use it as a tool, but realize all the other beauties of life other than money. He's just a reflection of who we are. The money and the violence in entertainment that we so much want to see and be exposed to. So these are two elements within ourselves: the greed that we have within, and our violence the violence and anger and aggression that we have within, the competitiveness that we have within, that we need to look upon within ourselves and transform. And rather than fighting each other and watching other people fight, why don't we just play with our kids or something? Or, like exercise and practice art and dance, practice martial arts.
Or take out the time to discover what it is that you love.
Yeah.
Your passion, your purpose, and how you can help, your neighbor or the person just walking down the street. We've lost that.
And rather than focusing all this money towards greed, maybe we could balance that energy out and focus on love, or giving. Just to balance out these energies. I think we're just imbalanced. The culture, society is imbalanced. And he's just a reflection of this imbalance. And, just also recognize the greatness within yourself and the impact that you could have in this world as well, and within the people around you.
There is something I wanted to comment on that you said earlier, on how you were talking about Mayweather's, how his lineage, it afforded him the opportunity, to become this great fighter. And you were saying that it would be impossible for anyone to do that. One of the things that I wanted to add to that is nothing is impossible for you as long as it is possible to you. And for me, what that means is there's a story that I have where there was a person who grew up, young lady who grew up, and she was a fan of Janet Jackson. and she would dance to all her videos. Videos would come on. She would, you know, sit in front of her and her cousins. They would do these dance competitions and everything. I mean, they loved Janet Jackson, right? And at the time that you're a little girl, it's only a dream that you would ever be a Janet Jackson dancer, right? That you're going to dance with her or be Janet Jackson. Now, it is impossible for anyone else to be Janet Jackson because she is who she is, and we are who we are, and we can only be who it is that we are, right? If that makes any sense. But a lot of people would look at this little girl and they would say, it's impossible for you to ever meet this woman. I mean, you live in this little city and you want to meet, you think she's going to want to meet you? Like, it's an impossibility because they can't open up their minds to receive that, right? Several years later, this little girl, not only did she meet Janet Jackson, but Janet Jackson saw her dancing somewhere. And Janet Jackson, the Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson's sister, you know, she requested to meet this now woman. The little girl who never imagined that she would ever meet Janet, wanted to, but people say, no, you're never going to do it. Not only did she meet her several years later, but Janet Jackson saw her dancing and she admired her so much that she sent her security guard over to her and told her that she wanted to meet her and talk to her. So I share that story, and this is a true story. I share that story to say this. Things that may seem impossible to other people can be your possibility, you know? But focusing on the wrong things will make that, it'll make it very, very difficult to come to pass, if ever. So money, like I said, it is a great resource and it is a great tool. If you are true to who you are, and you go along your path and you don't let anyone else tell you that something is impossible for you when it's your purpose and your desire and your passion, and you just focus on that and you do the work and put in the energy and the time, the money will come. The money is a result of you living out your purpose. You making the impossibilities that everyone else may think your dreams are, you making those things possible because it's yours to have. The money will come. The money comes as a result. Mayweather, you can't tell me that that man is not passionate about boxing. I know anyone doing, but they have to be passionate. To take blows to the head, to get in the ring and fight, you have to be passionate about something, you know. Dancers, passionate about dancing. Debbie Allen, she's another one. Passionate about dance. She didn't retire from dance. She transcended. She's still a part of dance because dance is a part of her. And in her pursuing her purpose, living her purpose, becoming what it is that she's passionate about, here comes the finances to support that. It wasn't because she chased after money. It's because she walked out her purpose. You know? So if you know you are worried about finances and it's all about money, 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 stop. Start focusing on your passion and your purpose. And if you don't know what it is, take out some time to sit quietly, meditate, write some things, and discover your purpose because it's there. You know? So what may be impossible for some people, it's possible for you. Because Mayweather's path, it's impossible for anyone else to walk his path because that's his path. But it is possible for you to walk your own, no matter how outrageous your path may sound to someone else. If somebody would have told me that I was going to meet some of the people who I ended up meeting in my life, I would have thought it to be impossible because I wasn't there yet. But what I did was I just walked my path. And the impossibilities just happened, you know. I'm a very spiritual person. I believe that God is in everything that we do and who we are, you know. And, you know, I won't go into it, but we can make the impossible possible. But you have to be true to yourself. Did I get a little long-winded? Did I lose you?
What?
Did I lose you?
No, no. Just the doorbell rang. I just want to make sure who it is.
Anyway, this is good. This is good.
Yes.
Inspiring.
I'm glad that you're sharing, what you feel. You know, to end the video, what I say, it reminds me of Bruce Lee's teaching, which is a very important teaching, not just from Bruce Lee, but from Buddha, from Osho, from Lao Tzu, from a lot of the Eastern sages out there. They teach you to be yourself, and that's what you're talking about, fulfilling your purpose. And that's what I mean, like when you connect with your purpose, you're doing, like you're saying, you're doing something that other people would see as impossible because you're actually fulfilling what you're meant to do. Mayweather was born into that, and that's his purpose. But what I'm saying is that his purpose is not your purpose. You need to find your purpose and head towards that. And that's what's really important. And we just kind of get lost into this fixation on money. Oh, this person has money, so let me do what he does to get money. I mean, it doesn't work that way, It's about getting to your purpose. And like you said, if you head towards your purpose, the money will come, and not to focus on the money, but to focus on your purpose, focus on being yourself, and head towards that. But I guess in a way, what Mayweather is helping is that his fame is giving attention to people who even just mention him. So just from a person mentioning Mayweather makes people want to listen. Oh, what does he have to say about Mayweather? And then by that, it allows people to potentially be open to learning from things of which he hasn't touched upon. But he's made this famous name to be utilized, just like the name Bruce Lee. Oh, what does this person have to say about Bruce Lee? Next thing you know, they can learn something just from the discussion revolved around this person's name. Right. So that I think is a good thing. Everybody, millions of people looking in, they know who Mayweather is. You yourself speak on Mayweather, and then whatever you fill that up with can potentially help people grow. So that's what I see as well. But yeah, is that it?